Okay, welcome to the VALT Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We are car culture cultivators. Today we're joined by Thierry Hugand. Did I pronounce it correct?
Perfectly.
Thierry,
yes. Thierry Frenchy, yes.
I watched a YouTube video on how to pronounce your name. I learned also that it is a very, very common French name, which I didn't know before that. I think I remember you telling me that one time in the past. But anyway, thank you for joining us on the podcast. Okay. And we're joined today by the usual co-hosts, Sean.
What's going on, Rob?
What's going on, Sean?
Good, man. Good to be here.
And of course, Joe.
Hello, how's it going?
And Joe is going to take us from here and run us through the shot list for the rest of the show.
All right, yeah. So, welcome first of all to our new structure. We have a list now, so it'll be nice and entertaining.
We're organized.
I'm looking at a list right now. It looks really cool. We're gonna kind of dive into Vault news, and then after that, we're going to jump kind of into whatever the industry is going through. And then after that, we're going to chat with Thierry. We're going to talk about his life, his passions, all of that stuff. And then we're going to give it to Sean, and Sean's going to have some fun.
Nice. I'm digging the new format, Joe.
Yeah,
that was my format.
So yeah, Vault news. You want me to start with Vault news?
I can start. I have it in front of me. So,
yeah, go for
it. So if you're listening to this, we've had our first members drive. Started in Livermore and ended up in Niles, which, if you've never been to Niles, is a super cool spot.
And have you driven Mines Road?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody was really excited about doing more drives for the spring and everything. We haven't been able to do any of that stuff because of the winter. So
yep.
yeah.
I tested it twice, and both times it was good. So
no closed roads.
Saturday was great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
As good as our shows are, is people get so excited, about when we do the rallies and drives. So it's good to bring that to the greater audience.
Yeah, I think one of the top comments on the Discord was, or maybe it was the Patreon.
More drives, less parking.
Yeah, more driving, less parking. Was that you?
Well, yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah, it's perfect.
No, that's good. That's why we do both.
Yeah.
So then, we did the drive. That was great. The day after our drive was the Solano show. I think this might be the second one of the year. This is the first one I've been to because I was at my wedding. But
congrats for the fourth month in a row.
Yeah,
getting married.
Yes. You guys have made it this far, so congratulations.
We're getting there.
Nice.
But
so for those who don't know, is Vault does a car show or Cars and Coffee every third Sunday of the month on Solano Avenue in between Berkeley and Albany, California.
We work with Signal Coffee, who is a local coffee roaster. They're really good people, and their coffee is really good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
It's an awesome Cars and Coffee. Every time I go, I see some really cool cars.
That's the weirdest shit, right?
Everything.
You never know what you're going to see.
I love it.
Yeah.
My favorite part about Solano is you'll go to a show and some like 80-year-old woman will come walking down the street and say, what is this? Like, what's happening here? And you'll tell her it's a car show. And 20 minutes later, she and her husband will show up in like some really obscure Italian car nobody's ever heard of. And they'll be like, oh, I live 3 blocks away,
Yeah. It's a great show. You can easily come park your car or, drive up and down Solano. So
tons of good
we
food.
get a little mix of everything.
our next big show, we've already announced this about a week ago. But Speed SF, we're partnering with to host a big show at Sonoma Raceway.
Yeah.
And Robert can talk more about that.
Yeah, so it's Speed SF and Student Driver. So Student Driver is the brand that is run by Daniel Wu and Sung Kang. They're now LA based, but they still come up here quite a lot for events. And we're working with them again. We've done a couple big shows with them. So it'll actually be a 2-day long shindig. The first day is track time, open to everybody, if you can reserve ahead of time. There's discounts for members, as always, on the track time with BSF. And there's a show, there's a show component to the whole day. So we'll be running a show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well. And then the second day is open autocross for anybody that comes out and wants to autocross instead of doing, track time. So that's fun. We're really excited about that one.
Yeah, and that's the Vault news. Up next is industry news. There's an Integra. A new Integra.
There is a new Integra.
One that has an S badge on it.
Integra.
And it could come in orange, I think, and blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the basic rundown on the car is it's still a K series motor. It's got 5 more horsepower than the Civic Type R, but I think you
30 pounds heavier, so it's the same.
Yeah.
It's exactly
basically
the
the exact same car as the Civic Type R. I think nicer interior. A lot of people are excited to see the Integra name back on the market. A lot of people are disappointed that it's not a coupe. What do you think about it? So you have really a wide spectrum of interest in cars. I feel like you.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we don't have Integras in France.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Even the
We don't have Acuras, you know.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
How does life exist without an Integra?
Well, you know, we have some Peugeots and Renaults that are really fun too, but
What would Rachel Thoreau think of France?
She'd spin on it.
no, I'm not sure I like a non-coupe version.
Yeah.
And I think, but Acura is doing, great cars.
My second car was an Integra. It was like a 91 Integra that I had a ton
Yeah.
of fun with.
Yeah.
Small hatchback. Are they releasing a hatchback?
No.
No shot.
No way.
No.
They already don't sell wagons in America. There's no way they're going to sell more hatches.
So cool.
I'm pretty excited to see a modern car manufacturer releasing like a car that's clearly only for enthusiasts, and especially in like the mid-market segment. 6-speed only. I think it would be really cool if it was all-wheel drive. It's obviously going to be front-wheel drive with the LSD, but yeah, I think it's interesting.
All-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive would be fun.
Yeah, rear-wheel drive would be great, but it's a Honda product.
It's a Honda, yeah.
It's gonna
No
be.
way.
Although have you driven a Civic Type R, the previous generation Civic Type R?
Nope.
It's Joe can speak to this better, but it's shockingly.
Yeah, I was surprised. We drove it way back in the early days of VALT.
Yeah.
We test drove one of the people who came to our shows.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really good. I'm sure this is better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Do we know the specs on it
320 horsepower.
as compared to the Civic Type R?
Five.
The same.
More horsepower.
Exactly the same.
Oh, 5 more horsepower.
5 more horsepower, but 30 pounds heavier.
Probably heavier, right? No?
Yeah, 30 pounds
30
heavier.
pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shockingly very similar.
So
but
I'm
probably a
sure the
nicer
ratios are the
interior,
same. Nicer interior, probably more leather.
Yeah.
You know.
So there.
Yeah.
There's the Integra Type S. I think it should be more power. I mean, I know that's not like Acura's thing is never just to make a crazy high power car, but like 320 horsepower in 2023, that's whack.
It's like, yeah.
I had a TL Type S, the 2007
Those
car.
were
Fun.
amazing.
And it was a 6-speed. That car had almost 280 horsepower in basically 2003. So why are you building an NA car in 2023 with 40 more horsepower than that?
Yeah.
that was a bit appalling, but
Honestly, I think the low power is like good.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be like a driver's
Yeah,
car,
yeah, definitely.
But the styling is what like makes me like this doesn't look like an evolution to an Integra at all.
Right,
To me,
yeah,
it just
right.
seems kind of like whatever Acura had on its drawing board that looked like an MDX but smaller.
just like an MDX.
Like that's the and then stamp Integra on the
Yeah.
bumper. It's just like
It seems like it's kind of like their philosophy. I mean, even with that TL Type S, which was a cool car, they just took the RL motor and put it in a car that couldn't fit it, and that's it. Slap some different wheels on it and some bigger brakes. They're kind of like.
I'm sure they're gonna lose money on it. They probably don't care about it. They probably just enough people asked about it, and they're like, "Fine, here, take this."
Maybe as underwhelming as it is right now is maybe like the NSX.
Yeah,
It
right.
was
That's exactly what I
slow,
was
and then
thinking.
it kind
Like
of
10 years.
It kind of caught on. It's kind of catching on. As
I mean, Acura isn't really known for currently sporty stuff. It's
Yeah.
known for like luxury Hondas right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the NSX, the new NSX, is like one of the best car, and people don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
It's
just
awesome.
talking about this on
Yep.
the last
Yeah.
time we had some people in.
We should get Rich on so we
It's
can
a
talk
great
about
car to drive.
My financial advisor friend that I talked about
Yeah.
earlier,
Yeah.
he has one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you ever drive it?
I drove it, and he was at that time shopping for different cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis and stuff, and the experience in the car was just really good.
I think
Like it.
I get more excited about like modern NSXs than basically anything else in its segment.
Yep.
They're really cool.
It is surprisingly good. So overall, I think we're all pretty hopeful
Yeah.
on the new, on the new Integra.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
please, Honda, Acura, if you're listening, if you guys decide to bring back the
Maybe
Prelude
listen.
or the Legend, do not fuck it up.
And at least 400 horsepower,
Yeah. Thank you.
all-wheel drive.
Yeah, and all-wheel drive.
And rear steer.
Or rear.
And
Yeah.
rear wheel steering.
for
you got to do in the Prelude.
Yeah, yeah, on the Prelude.
So anyway, that's our take on the Integra Type S. If you hate it or love it, tell us. If you really disagree with us, you should tell us. Or if you own one, you should tell us so we can drive it.
Let's go
They're
test
not
drive it.
available yet.
Yeah,
But
it's
in the
24
future,
delivery.
June. Yeah, I think June this year, actually.
That's pretty soon.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't aware, Thierry is a local Bay Area car nut. He wears many hats in the professional world. He's an insurance agent, but he also is kind of a TikTok celebrity, which actually has a really funny story. He was telling us how he got into TikTok, and it was a competition with his daughter.
Nice.
But beyond that, it seems like you have like a full-time job in, the car hobby industry as well, right? So I'm curious, what was your first car that you ever owned? You had another interesting story about this too, I think.
So the funny thing is, I got my first car when I was 31. So because I spent a lot of time in college, and then I traveled the world, so I never really had a need for a car. But when I moved to the States, I bought my first car. So there's two stories for the first car. When I first moved here, fresh off the boat, I wanted to cross country, so I bought this 1978 Chrysler Cordoba.
I gotta look up.
What?
I saw that on your form actually. I forgot. To
So 1978 Chrysler Cordoba. I bought it on El Camino Real. There's two guys that were selling car cash. I bought it for $1,300. And I ended up traveling cross country with it.
It's a really long car.
How much cocaine could you put in that car?
So there was no cocaine, but I traveled with my best friend, French guy, and we were in the desert in New Mexico, and we might have been smoking some stuff, and we could see people like, I don't know, it was like in the desert, and we were like, there's people like watching.
Oh no!
The next day we drive through like a checkpoint, and the cops are there, and they're like, do you mind if we check the car? Anyway, so, and then they get the dog out. And so anyway, so they ended up finding a nugget of tea, and they wanted to take the car apart. And then
dismantle it to search more, or
yes.
Oh my god!
And they ended up just like scare us because two French guys that looked like like literally just fresh off the boat, and so we ended up leaving.
How was your English at this time? Was it
very, very, very poor.
Oh my god!
I think they were just like surprised that we were actually driving that car. And so after the trip, drove it back to San Francisco, ended up parking in the streets, and then I moved back to France. It was like, and then someone hit it. And was nice enough to leave a note on the car. And I ended up getting money back, and they paid for my trip. And so that was kind of the story of the first car.
Awesome. Is that how you became an insurance agent?
No,
you're like, I love insurance.
No, but I love insurance. And then my real first car, when I moved here, so I was 31, was a 2001 Ford Focus ZX3.
Oh, cool! My neighbor has one of those.
And so I come from like very humble beginning family, and my dad always bought the cheapest car. Like like when people like they buy the best, my dad always bought the cheapest car. Like we had a Peugeot 104. We're four tall adults, like no air conditioning, everything manual. But that was the car I grew up in.
Right.
So when I got to dealership, I was like, oh my god, I can get this car. So I got the cheapest. And for the next 3 years, I ended up putting an exhaust in the chip because I really thought it would make a big difference.
It's 5 horsepower.
And I ended up taking the track, learning how to race on track, dirt, snow.
Wow.
I used to go to Tahoe every weekend, and I would get the chains on, like I got it to a science. Cool. And I would just drive, and I drove the shit out of the car. That's what I do. Yeah. And I sold it after 4 years. It was like 170,000 miles. It was beat up, and I made my money back, and that was my first car.
They're a really fun platform, right?
Yep.
The reason I said my neighbor has one, my neighbor tracks cars. He has that and a Miata, and he says he prefers that to the Miata as a platform, which is.
And it's always I learn how to be fast on a slow car, which I'll be on a track and racing Porsches and Subarus, and I was my front drive ZX3, and then I moved up in cars.
And we talked about that on our latest rally. Is you should learn to be fast in a slow car before you ever go out and buy
Something
Porsche
crazy.
or something, whatever, some supercar, and you're only fast on the straightaways.
To see Joe in like a E23 7 Series BMW, like smoking that thing
Everything.
like crazy,
Yeah,
like the
for sure.
heaviest, longest sedan ever.
Yeah, I've used
literally
yeah.
closing his eyes and throwing it into turns.
Perfect.
I'm a little bit more tame now, but I abused cars.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a little more
That's awesome.
after COVID. I'm more tame now.
So where did your love for cars, like where did that come from?
So I grew up in Lyon, in France, which is they used to have the Paris Dakar, the big rally raid
Okay.
they used to do in Africa, and so they had all these cars that would come early in the morning, and I used to just go and see races. So I watched the Monte Carlo. I watched so I was really into
You
rallies.
just grew up with that around you.
Yeah, my dad was just big into it, so he took me to he was not driving any of those cars, but that was kind of his dream, and he was a very simple guy. But I just got to really get into cars, and I subscribed to 5 or 6 different magazines, and from the age of 6, 7, I would just know everything about cars. Right now I can't work on cars. I can't do an oil filter change, brakes, and tires, but I'm really not. I know a lot of cars, but I just can't even work on cars, which is interesting. So that, so I was really crazy. Rallies were my stuff.
Your shirt.
Yeah. And so the story with this is in 1986.
So wait, first of all, describe what's on your shirt. For
Un, dos, tres, cuatro. So if you, un, dos, tres, cuatro.
Ah,
So it's Audi Quattro.
It's a good one.
So, and so the story behind this is in 1986, I was 14. I got a ride in Audi Quattro, brand new.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool.
And for me, it was, that was it. And I've always been into cars.
So was it an S1? Was it an S1?
No, it was a Quattro coupe that you would get at a showroom,
okay.
but it was brand new. And then I remember the vibration, the sound. I remember where it was, that was it. And then I've always had this car passion, but never had an opportunity to buy a car. So it's kind of like dormant.
Yeah.
Till about when I moved here 20 years ago, and then I just really got to, be 18 at age 31, and kind of like, so I'm catching up.
Yeah. What was that? So I guess we've already kind of touched on it. I was going to ask what it was like transitioning from like the car culture in France to the car culture in America, and I guess you didn't get to own many cars or any cars when you were over there, but you're still engaging in probably pretty different things there than here.
Yeah. So in France, we're very protective, kind of like the Americans. They had American cars. In France, it was all the Peugeot 205 GTI, 105 Turbo. So those were like really cool cars because I was in college in 1991. So yeah, the rad cars were my kind of cars when I was in high school.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got to just dream of like all these European rad cars, from BMW, Porsche. But I was never kind of a high-end car because I never thought I could afford kind of like following my dad's step. So I was always into like the very simpler, humble stuff. But and the car culture is not as big because you don't get your license at 16. You don't need if you live in Paris, you don't need a car. So it's very different, and that's what I think for me. I loved the American culture because I embraced it. I was like, oh my god, you can get your car at 16, you can do all this stuff. So I think the car culture here is much bigger in so many ways. We have really cool cars in Europe.
You guys get all the cool stuff over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's a good question. Do you as someone not from America, do you think like we have the cool stuff? Because I know that for like at least in the Euro scene, like M5s
like in the BMW scene, people will convert their Euro models to
M5s
American.
with those humongous bumpers right there. Like people in Europe will snag those up so fast because they're way rarer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same reason people here will buy a Euro model.
I mean, I'm still partial to the Euro stuff, even if I was
Yeah.
European. I would probably
No, I mean,
do that.
I hate the big bumpers.
Yeah. Okay.
I like
know.
to strip. Like if I have a 2002, I'll remove the bumpers.
It's kind of interesting to talk to you about this kind of stuff too, because I feel like a lot of the Bay Area and a lot of the world knows so much about like La Bete, your Cobra and your Porsche, but like I didn't know anything about you coming to America, your first Focus, the story with the Quattro. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's something else that fuels your passion. Is it cooking? Is what I hear.
Oh yeah, you said you really.
Well, I mean,
and butter, obviously.
My wife would tell you I'm an amazing cook. I can just, I just like to cook.
Uh-huh.
My mom is an amazing cook, and I just learned from her. And if you don't like butter and cream, you're not gonna like my food. But I love to just go in the fridge and then pick stuff, and I'll make something really good.
All right, so let's give this a try and see how this is. It's as addictive as it's ever been, okay? Crack chicken.
Telling us before all of this that you lived in China, the U.S., France. Where else?
Belfast, Northern Ireland for 2 years. So
That's
I went to
crazy.
school. I went to school when it was still at war. They were at war.
Wow.
So I spent 2 years there.
That's gotta be a crazy story.
Yeah, I remember studying for my master's, and I would get out of the library, and there'll be like tanks in the street. So it's like, and you're in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but it was very safe.
Yeah.
It's not like a war like that we see in other countries.
Still tanks driving around though.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's
And
I
they
don't
were
think I've ever-
they're bombing in the pubs. People. I mean, there were casualties, but it was not horrific
Right, mass casualty.
Yeah.
war that we see now.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Have you had like a crazy driving experience in another country?
Oh yeah. Well,
That you
I
can tell us
did.
about.
I did. I have some crazy stories. When I was 20, with my brother, who was 18, and my ex-girlfriend, we drove a little Citroën from Paris all the way to the North Cap, Norway. So we drove for a month.
What?
And it was a video photography rally raid. So it's like you had to do videos, you had to do photographies, and you had to go on checkpoints. And so we had this car. It was a diesel. I put some grill to protect the headlamps, but they were not real grill. They were just the stuff that we used for barbecue. I mean, it was just like we just built that car and then did
It's like a Lemons car.
yes, and we drove it on dirt roads, WRC style. And did Paris, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, all the way to North Cap and back in a car. So that was a
It's like a 5,000 miles, I think.
crazy experience
Wow.
with a bunch of French people just doing some cool shit.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. Okay.
What else? In China, I had motorcycles that were I bought and I knew were stolen from like you couldn't get like so the motorcycles that I bought were just pieced together from like motorcycles stolen in Hong Kong. So
Yeah.
kind of this crazy stuff that you have to do to survive.
That's nuts. And you survived all of the cars too.
Yes.
All these Lemons cars and motorcycles.
Here to tell tale.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, we're gonna put you through the ringer with some really not super difficult questions that are kind of interesting.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to run down with a few hot takes. Just answer whatever comes to mind, just your honest answer. So first question, hot or cold?
Hot.
Okay. American, European, JDM.
European.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Drink a pint of water.
Nice. Okay.
My man. I do the
Good
same.
stuff.
I do the
That's
same
good
fucking
stuff.
thing.
That's good stuff. First thing you do when you get in your car?
I just drive.
Little pause in there.
That's hard.
Damn, Thierry's hard.
Capital R drive.
What's your 3-car garage?
An
Three of those.
Audi Quattro S1 that is $1 million right now, or I'll buy the replica for 250,000. So that would be the top car, impractical, but just what I want. F40 is my dream, more unattainable by the minute, and then a Renault 5 Turbo for the Euro.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
105 Peugeot?
Renault 5 Turbo, and then there's also the Peugeot.
Renault 5.
Oh, Renault. Oh, I said
yeah.
105. Okay.
Yeah, the Renault 5 Turbo.
Thank
The one that was at the rally.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
The one that was
And
blowing
I
up.
mean, anything WRC from the 90s, I'll take and I'll put in my dream warehouse.
Yeah. So it's really like a 40 car garage.
Nice.
But yeah, the three is F40 Quattro and then Renault 5 Turbo.
nice.
Cool.
Then I put you on the hot seat and you passed like that.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
I just drive.
But I do drive my dream cars too. So it's like, you know, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I still like have amazing cars, and every day, you know, I came here. It was 30-minute drive, and you know, I was the only one smiling on the highways.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is crazy.
So you know, I love the cars I have, and I'll always have, you know, dream cars. The story about the Cobra, La Bête. So why La Bête? So people was like LA Beat. So La Bête has two meaning. It means stupid or the beast. And so my wife was the beauty. So La Cobra was the Bête. So the beauty and the beast. So I got that, and I got the orange interior, so that she would feel like nice and love the car. So we get to keep it. So that was kind of my, you know, it's gonna be my car, but it's cute enough that you're gonna. So that was La Bête. And then on April Fool 2 years ago, I was in San Francisco downtown, Mission and 6th Street, in the so-so part of the city, and I started the car, nothing, started the car again, and then giant flame. I was wearing my shorts. I was in the car. People were like, "You should have used your fire extinguisher." I had my fire extinguisher here. Got out. I think I first sat in the car. I was like, another, because 3 months prior, someone had put we found 2 pounds of salt in a gas tank.
in that car, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know, with fame and like, you know, being like doing
Yeah.
that stuff, people get jealous.
Yeah.
We never knew, but so we had to rebuild the engine. The engine was brand new. Started it,
Explode.
nothing, and then maybe some leaky carb, but it just went. I grabbed the fire extinguisher, tried to open the hood. I usually never lock the hood. That morning, I locked it with my keys, so couldn't open it. So I, through the vent, just put out the fire, got my stuff out, and then it started again. And then
Yeah.
2 minutes later, the fire department came in, and they did their,
Yeah.
you know, they literally just went
Destroyed the thing.
in the washer, and it lasted 5 minutes. 10 minutes later, the tow truck was there. Usually, I cannot find a tow truck.
Wow.
Somehow,
right
they were
there.
like, they didn't want to show.
So lucky.
So the tow truck, and that was it. Car was totaled. I bought it back. I found another total Cobra, and then 2 years in the process, we rebuilt. So it was pretty much the engine and the engine compartment that burnt, plus some of the inside. And
Was
then
your
we
whole
just-
wiring harness gone too?
Yeah,
I assume?
everything.
Yeah. You should see the photos. And he
Okay.
drove it here today too.
And
It's
then
nice. We'll have to share those on the
Yeah.
right here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then coming back from Car Week, right right there on the highway, I start smelling like fire, and then I shredded the axle. Anyway, so the car was out of commission till about a month ago, and so I just got it back.
Yeah. I
But
was really excited to see you in it. I thought you would bring literally any other car, but
No,
that
I was like, I'm
this
gonna
one.
bring the Cobra.
Yeah,
and I was
really.
like, it's windy, it's gonna be whatever.
Yeah.
And I've put during COVID 30,000 miles on the Cobra.
That's crazy.
Nice.
A Cobra.
Nice.
So
Is
I
it a
mean, you know,
427?
like my, it's a 427.
Yeah, okay.
8 stack, carbureted, 600 horsepower, 600 pound of torque, 2,300 pounds, no traction control. No, I mean, the car is, you know, I have a very, very fast Porsche turbo, like really fast. The Cobra just completely destroys
It's,
it.
the Cobra has done over 200 miles an hour.
No kidding.
Yeah. So this one has
That's
a
nuts.
It
And
has
there's not much
In that
aero
car,
on that
that's-
car.
yeah,
Oh,
but
God.
actually
Some
we
canards
we
and
have an
stuff.
area. So there's a
So about to
rear
launch.
splitter and then front splitter, and so I had a Cobra before. That was a factory 5, and that car at 120 miles an hour, the thing shakes and you don't know if you're gonna make it. Like it's
Yeah.
like this one at 150 miles an hour, the car just start planting.
Wow.
And you just go, and yeah, it's still scary.
Well, yeah, 200 miles an hour in an open top car.
There's no, I mean, anything goes wrong, goes
Yeah.
wrong. So
Yeah.
my wife's not listening, but yeah, we're not doing it anymore. We did that once. And the story on the Porsche, really quick too. It's like so my dad's dream car was a Porsche. I never got to get one. My dad died of cancer like 5 years ago, and 5 years ago, I had too many dirty martinis.
Uh-huh.
And then I came home one day and I was like, all right, I drove people and I was like, okay, I cannot drink and drive, and I could, so I stopped drinking, and so I got a Porsche and I wrapped it as a dirty martini. So I used to drink dirty martinis. Now I get to drive my dirty martini.
Nice.
It's really.
So
I
that's-
always
so that's-
wondered what the story behind that livery
And
was.
so that's really, and then my dad, I put my dad as a co-pilot, so that's kind of like,
Oh, cool.
and it has a fuck cancer, so it's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
my, the cancer stuff is kind of like, I try to give back with to the car community, and then I just get to live my dream.
Nice.
awesome.
It's a 996.
996,
Nice.
2003 X50.
Oh, it is an X50. I was just
It's
going
an
to ask.
X50,
Yeah.
That's cool.
and I just
really
did
rare.
everything. Bigger turbos. I got huge Alpha 28 turbos. I got huge intercoolers. No cats, and the thing is,
Glad we're not in California.
the thing I drive it only in Mexico.
Or Mexico.
And the thing, it's it might not be the Tesla 0 to 60, but it's that 90 to 140 is just like
Yeah.
it's fun. And then I got a nice shifter, and so that's impractical. I got a roll cage, but it's what I like.
Nice.
I cannot put my kid in it. It's it's my purpose.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in France, before we get in trouble, because you know how the Porsche community is, and I noticed you said Porsche,
Yes.
and I still say
Oh.
Porsche too. But around Porsche people, I have to say Porsche, or they kill me.
Yeah.
Is
you
it
ever get that
Porsche
response?
or is it Porsche?
I have a weird accent, so it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You can get away with it. You can say whatever.
I get away with everything, and then to me it's like, and I think we talked about this. Like, funny enough is I bought that Porsche, and I'm 50, and I have this silver Porsche. It's kind of like I didn't want to fit that profile.
Yeah.
So I don't care how you pronounce it, as long as you drive it. I hate Trailer Queens. I hate the Porsche 996 that that has 5,000 miles on it.
Yeah. That's sad.
We like to drive and
Yeah.
abuse cars.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Hey, dude, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, and thank you guys for hopefully enjoying this new format that we're on. We look forward to bringing you more exciting guests
Thank
as
you,
well as
guys.
content, man. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. We're excited about the new show format. Thank you for sticking through it with us. We'd love to have you back on in the future if your hot takes change or if any new cars come in. Or if
There's a new car coming tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, wait. Save it. And then tell us after.
Nice.
Okay. Thanks for watching so much, guys. And Thierry, thanks for coming on.
Joe, anything?
No, leave a comment if you have any suggestions, I guess.
Bye, Joe. See ya.